So I figured, why not even it out? Why not even the scales this week? We're going to be talking about how Epcot is not doing too hot. And I got to see, as part of that visit, Communicore Hall. And let me tell you, when I made the video earlier this year about how Communicore Hall could be better when a festival hits, I guess I could just wrap this video up now by saying that no, it's not better. Communicore Hall is a disappointment to me, personally. Wow, this guy is a bit of a negative Nancy, isn't he? Or is he a Ricky realist? Because Communicore Hall has changed since I visited in this video. This video is in the past. It's not the current situation. In fact, dare I say, Communicore Hall might have improved a little bit. I'm not going to say that it's perfect. I'm not going to say that it's what it should have been from day one. I'm not going to say that it's what new Epcot should be. I'm not going to say any of that because that's quite frankly not true. But Communicore Hall has gotten better. And I'd say it's gotten better by leaps and bounds. I think it's good. Now, I think it's good. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's excellent. I think Communicore Hall has become good since I made this video in the past. And I'm here to explain to you why. Because it's important I follow up on my complaining video from earlier. I want to set the record straight. Now, just to catch a couple of people up here who may not be in the know, so, you know, some Disneyland friends out there, this was originally supposed to be the festival center for new Epcot. It would have multiple stories, it'd be way up there in the air, fireworks viewing, it looks really, really cool. And then, you know, plans changed, COVID happened, and some budget cuts happened, and we got Communicore Hall announced. And when Communicore Hall opened, suffice to say, with no festival and no decoration or really anything going on inside Communicore Hall, it was bad. It did not look the way a Disney theme park, or a space at a Disney theme park, I should say, should look. And then when a festival came in, Food and Wine, it still looked really, really bad. This footage was taken during Food and Wine 2024. It's just a white sort of dentist office with pavilion flags everywhere. It's not a good look. But then Festival of the Arts 2025 rolled around, and it seems Disney heard some of our outcry because they definitely went a little further with Festival of the Arts than they did with Food and Wine the year prior. It looked a lot better. It was a sort of an exhibit space rather than just a place to set up merch carts. You see, they used it to show off costumes and props from Disney on Broadway. I believe it was celebrating an anniversary, 30 years, I believe. I could have sworn I got footage of it, but I guess I didn't. So you can enjoy this Laughing Place footage. I will link them down in the description below if you want to check out the full video. But it had beautiful costumes and props and lighting on display from Disney on Broadway. And it definitely added a bit more life to this otherwise very gray building. I do appreciate them trying it with Communicore Hall. They tried a little bit, and I would say it sort of paid off. It was a very fun sort of exhibit to walk through. It gave me something to do. Sort of reminded me of the Disney Gallery at Disneyland on Main Street, USA, whereas the Disney Gallery is Disneyland props and history. This is Disney Broadway props and history, which is neat. Now, was it perfect? No, I don't think it was exactly what we were looking for all those years ago with the original Epcot Convention Center. There weren't any food items for sale inside the convention hall, and you know, the merchandise was spotty here and there, but I mean, it was an improvement. Disney did improve Communicore Hall, but then Flower and Garden 2025 rolled around, and let me tell you, my friends, I would say they actually improved upon the Disney on Broadway overlay. And that's what I'm going to call them, because it's kind of an overlay, right? And I did, manage to get footage of the Flower and Garden overlay, and I think the lighting in here really does a lot to help sort of change the tone. The stagnant gray lighting previously really made it feel boring in there, but this is a lot better. And the giant topiary, the sculpture, they're selling food in here, merchandise. There's rotating menu throughout the course of the festival. So if you come back on a different month, let's say later on in the festival, you'll find a different menu than what you found there previously. There's a reason to come back to, dare I say, Communicore Hall? It's very strange, those words leaving my mouth, but I do think that this is so much better. Again, though, it's not this. I would have preferred this, and this isn't perfect, but I gotta give Disney props for doing something, right? Doing anything, because let's face it, friends, Communicore Hall was an absolute disaster when it first opened, okay? It was really, really bad. Even the shows on the outside sort of left something to be desired. It was meant to be this sort of rotating festival space, but it was just dead. It was dead on arrival, and now there's a little bit more life there. Now, before people come running into the comments saying that it's not good enough, we shouldn't be praising Disney on these sort of things, I agree to some extent. I do agree that it's not really good enough. We do need a bit of a bigger, more dedicated festival space. A space where you can have performances for the festivals and food and exhibits even, like with the Disney on Broadway exhibit that they had for Festival of the Arts. We need a bigger space, maybe a multi-story space, like a freestanding structure. Sort of looks like a UFO. Maybe not. But I do think that I need to comment on the fact that it is getting better, and suffice to say that they're not going to tear down the entirety of Communicore Hall and rebuild something else in its place. Maybe in the future they'll end up doing that, but that's not in the cards right now. They just finished Communicore Hall. It's going to be here for another 10, 15, maybe even 20 years, and that's a reality we have to come to terms with. Although I do think that there are ways they could improve on Communicore Hall, maybe adding a second story, another layer to the building, a rooftop garden, a celebration space up on the top of the building where you could see the fireworks and listen to some live music. That'd be really cool. Or perhaps a complete retheming of the inside of the building, because for all of its faults, I actually don't hate the outside of Communicore Hall. The rainbow lights at night, the whole area really comes to life. During the day, it is very sort of basic, very business parky, but you have to remember, if you're saying that the Communicore Hall or New Epcot looks like a business park, your business park actually looks like Epcot. It's the other way around, okay? That's something I feel like I need to say. I'm not saying New Epcot is saved. I'm not saying New Epcot is perfect. It is far from that, okay? And I'm the biggest Epcot fanboy I know. I think it's second only to Disneyland in the best Disney parks in America. I actually haven't been to any of the overseas parks. I'm working on it, don't worry. But I think the whole point I wanted to make with this video is that things are getting better. Things aren't there yet, but Disney's improving. And they can only improve so much with the space that they've built. Communicore Hall really is just sort of its own prisoner right now. It's confined by what it is. You can't really do more in the space. I'm sure they could improve the interiors, the theming, but the actual building itself is there. It's not going to change for a while. And I am of the mindset, maybe this does actually at the end of the day make me a Disney shill, but I think that if we compliment Disney and praise them when they do things right, maybe in the future they'll be more likely to do those things right again, or improve upon what came before. If it's endless whining, nobody really wins from that. I mean, yeah, we can absolutely express our displeasure when they change something for the worse. The Hatbox Ghost at the Haunted Mansion, I will never let this go. Disney, this is bad and it needs to change, okay? Why is he there? It's bad. I hate it. See, I could say that, or I could say I don't think that in terms of pacing and the story of the Haunted Mansion that the Hatbox Ghost really lends himself well to being in the endless hallway. It really sort of feels like he came out of nowhere. It's very out of place. Even if he can't go in the attic scene for whatever reason, maybe we could reposition him to a different scene that makes more sense. Perhaps the Grand Hall. I think the Grand Hall is the best spot for the new Hatbox Ghost at the Walt Disney World Mansion. However, if you want to put him in a different area, you could have him at the exit crypt with little Leota. There's nothing else in there, it's just little Leota. Or somewhere in the graveyard scene where one of the mausoleum ghosts are, you could replace it with the Hatbox Ghost. That way he's part of the Swingin' Wake. I've heard there's reasons they can't put him in the attic scene, structural reasons with the attraction, and that's fine. There's just better places, mood-wise, storytelling-wise, that make more sense for the Hatbox Ghost than the endless hallway scene. Is that a little bit more effective than saying it sucks and I hate it and I need it to go away? Yes. I feel the same way. I do hate it and it does suck and it does need to go away, but we need to be a little bit more thoughtful on how we critique things. Me included, okay? I admit. It's not easy, but keeping a positive mindset about the Disney parks these days is about all we can do as Disney Parks fans. We just have to stay positive and hope for the best. And I think that staying positive about Communicore Hall, telling Disney that this is good and it can get even better if they put just a little bit more money into Communicore Hall, make it feel just a little bit more new age, you know, put the ground fiber optics from old Epcot, put those in the floor in Communicore Hall. Have some roaming characters. That's something that Disneyland does far better than Walt Disney World. Put Chip and Dale in there walking around talking to people. Put Goofy in there sometimes, maybe Daisy. And I think we are well on our way to a solid B+, A- Communicore Hall. That is just my opinion, though, my friends. What is your thought on this new Communicore Hall? Do you think the improvements are good? Do you think they're bad? Do you think Disney is doing enough? Or do you think they should probably do more? I'm on the second team. I do think that it needs a little bit more. It needs maybe a lot a bit more, but it's better. And I want Disney and people out there, you, my friend, to know that I think it's better. Am I wrong? That's possible, but it's improving. Now, did this video turn into something completely separate from saying that Communicore Hall is improving and turn into maybe I need to start conveying my frustration with Disney and critiquing them in a different way? Do I need to do that a bit differently? Perhaps. Maybe this video is all about the Hatbox Ghost behind the scenes. That's genuinely a possibility. But I just think that it's important to praise Disney when they do something right, and to critique them, maybe not flame them, but critique them when they do something wrong. And because they're doing a lot of things wrong nowadays, like filling in the rivers of America, we have to critique why we think that's a bad thing, and not just whine that they're filling in the rivers of America, which is one of the best scenic places in all of the Magic Kingdom, with the best people-moving attraction that's not the People Mover, the Liberty Bell boat, but I'm getting sidetracked again. What are your thoughts on new Communicore Hall, and what do you think on the Hatbox Ghost in the hallway at the Haunted Mansion, or them filling in the rivers of America? Let's play a game, everyone. Let's have some fun down in the comments below. Let's all critique Disney without flaming them, without getting angry. Let's talk about what we dislike that they're doing, recently with the parks, Muppet Vision, sure. Let's talk about why we dislike it and what they could do instead and do better than just closing down Muppet Vision, filling in the rivers, putting the Hatbox Ghost in the Endless Hallway, or putting a palm tree in Communicore Hall. Other than that, everybody, But with all of that being said, everybody, that is the end of this video. And even though I'm not at the desk is actually, it's over in this direction. That's the door, and then there's my little shelf right there. So I will be going to the underneath side of the desk, because that is where the end card for the video is. So I will see you all in the end card, which is down here. Still, can't believe I have to do this every time. It does get old after a while, but I have to. Hey there, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching this video on Communicore Hall and its state of gradual improvement, and also commenting on why we need to be more mindful, me included, especially me sometimes when it comes to the Hatbox Ghost, on criticism for Disney. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button, and if you're new around here and do want more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. It's a little bit of a different kind of a video this week. I wanted to talk a little bit more in depth on Communicore Hall, and then it just sort of spiraled out of control from there. So just a completely different kind of thing. And you'll get 2 videos this week, just saying. So there will be another video later on in the week. Doesn't that sound fun? If you want to follow me on other social medias, you can on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky. I am at Offhand Disney on all of those websites. Just makes it a little bit easier for you to find me. But my friends, thank you all so much for watching. I will see potentially some of you next week in Disneyland for the 70th. All right, that's going to be a lot of fun. The Disneyland 70th, I'm going to be there for the first day. I'm going to try food. I'm going to get that People Mover cup. And if I don't see you there, then I will see you later on this week in the second video. That's right, 2 videos this week, everyone. You're welcome. No need to thank me. No need to line up and thank me. All right, it's just my job, literally. Thank you again. Goodbye.